Alright, so I just found out that this movie was, just recently uploaded to YouTube, about a month ago. Like, exactly a month ago, pretty much. Um, so yeah, so these are my thoughts on Go There, Don't Know Where. So yeah, this is a movie from Russia, USSR. By the way, I guess I should talk a little about the artist Ivan Ivanov Vano. Very interesting name. Um, but yeah, he's done a couple movies that I've reviewed already. So let's see, we got Humpbacked Horse, Snow Maiden, 12 Months, Buratino, Lefty, and yeah, that's pretty much all of them. Um, so, so this movie's kind of, let's see, Wikipedia says it is a comedy based on the motifs of Russian folk tales, which sounds about right because it kind of sounds like what you get if you throw every folk tale, like every Russian folktale movie that I've reviewed so far, just throw it in a blender. And in fact, I think those were all movies that Vano, or yeah, Ivanov Vano did. Um, Because, let's see. Um, yeah, we got. Well, the story is we got this corrupt czar, kind of. Yeah, or it's mostly kind of an incompetent czar who has, or I guess he's corrupt as well, but he has this equally corrupt advisor. So it's a lot like Humpbacked Horse. Um, um, and he's got this hunter who works for him, and the hunter one day saves this bird who turns out to be this pretty lady who was turned into a bird by an evil sorcerer or something. So, okay, I don't think Vano covered any of those, but yeah, it's kind of like a cross between Wild Swans and what was yeah, Frog Princess. Um, and then they get married. Um, and then one day the czar's advisor comes to their cabin and he falls in love with the lady. And oh yeah, she also makes these pretty carpets for. So I think that was also an element from Frog Princess. Um, but yeah, she makes these pretty carpets, and then the advisor comes over to see, you know, because the hunter tells him that his wife made them, and so he comes over and sees the wife in question, and he falls in love with her, and then he tells the czar about her, and then he disguises himself, and then he goes over to the cabin and sees her, and he too falls in love with her. Um, let's see, and then basically the rest of the movie is this big plot for the czar to steal her because well, the advisor is married, the czar is a widower. Um, um, so they try to get the husband killed, so they send him on these dangerous tasks, a lot like Humpbacked Horse. Um, let's see, the first trip he ends up in hell. So, yeah. Second trip he finds himself in this cabin where like this invisible servant, like who has like magic powers or something, he like serves like different masters, and they're all mean to him and stuff. But yeah, the hunter takes him in, and he's a lot nicer to him. Um, let's see. And they head back, and I think if I recall correctly, the Tsar thinks the hunter's dead, so he tries to marry his wife. But then the hunter breaks in, and there's this big fight, and oh yeah, there's some other side plots along the way, like these three rich friends who like briefly the hunter and the invisible servant guy, they have like this private island, and one day these three rich snobby young men, they come to the island, and they see they see what the servant can do, and then they like trade in these like magical artifacts, and yeah, let's see. So yeah, they trade the artifacts for the invisible servant, but he tricks them, because then he like ditches them and goes back to the hunter, and yeah, then they head back to the palace, and they defeat the Tsar and his advisor with the magical artifacts they just got. And yeah, then he gets back together with his wife, and the end. So yeah, it's the story itself is pretty unremarkable, but I don't know. I guess that's kind of the idea, or I guess the idea is just it's like a bunch of different Russian folk tales rolled into one. So it wasn't bad. It's perfectly harmless. It's your typical little fantasy adventure movie. It's definitely not Disney level, but it's all right. But yeah, the most interesting part about the movie is the animation style. So yeah, like I said, Ivanov Vano previously did Lefty, which was cutout animation. Yeah, this one was also cut out, but it also like mixed in some stop motion with like mainly with these two narrators, or like puppet like jesters, and yeah, it like cuts back and forth between them and the main story. So it's kind of an interesting mixture of animation styles. Still not quite as varied as The Bath was, but yeah, we don't need to go into how crazy that one was. But yeah, it's interesting visually. I will say I've become pretty desensitized to a lot of these, Russian fairy tale movies by now. I've watched a bunch of them, and yeah, they've gotten a little stale, but again, this one's perfectly harmless. It's decent. I can't really say anything that's like totally wrong or like dated or anything. It's perfectly, it's good. I think I'd give it a 7 out of 10, and yeah, if you're interested, feel free to check it out. And yeah, I guess that's about all I can really think to say right now. There's not really a whole lot to talk about with this one. But yeah, again, if there's anything else I feel I need to add, I'll put it in the comments. So, yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that for now. So, yeah, Mash it and Smash it signing off.